Hello, my fellow crest-wearing companions, and welcome back to another episode of Extra Time, the U.S. Men's National Team Soccer podcast, in what might be the only positive, optimistic, just future-thinking podcast that exists for the U.S. Men's National Team currently right now. And in this, I'm going to break down the one thing that is holding U.S. soccer back. That's what we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about the one thing, collectively, that is holding all of U.S. men's soccer back that is coming up on this podcast, on this episode. And I'm guessing that the reason that you're here is because you too are an optimist and you too are so tired of this one thing that keeps going wrong that you're curious as if it's the same thing. We're going to find out. Let's get to it. Okay, so United States men have just now gone through a window. We have played Belgium. Okay, we have played Portugal. We lost to Portugal 2-0. We lost to Belgium 5-2. I don't want to sit here and have conversations about the games. Okay? What I want to do is I want to explain to people, this is just going to be like my rant. I just need an outlet to just have a conversation, to just kind of go off. I'm hoping that the mic doesn't get too hot. I'm just all of those things. Okay, so there's not going to be any real rhyme or reason for this, right? This is what I'm going to say. This is how it starts. So one of my friends who doesn't really know a whole lot about soccer, right? But he's trying. Okay, he supports the United States no matter what is going on. He loves sports. He loves football. He's wrote his own blog before. Very educated person, has a PhD, understands that there's a lot of noise in the world, right? And he sends me a Twitter post. Okay, now again, he's just waking up, right? He's not somebody who's gonna like watch all these games. He's not gonna be like like down into it, deep into it, all those things, right? So he sends me the first off the group schedule, right? Because as soon as that game ended, the group schedule comes out. We're all about the group schedule. And then he sends me this post, and it says, did the United States men's national team get a win against two elite teams right before the World Cup? No. Did we at least learn some valuable lessons to take into the summer? Also no. But did we at least have fun while watching our favorite soccer team? No. And that did it for me. I snapped, right? And so I'm going to snap right now. The one thing that is holding U.S. men's soccer back currently is our media. We claim that we're trying to grow soccer in our country. We claim that we are big, ambassadors of the sport, and we want the youth to feel everything. And then we get up on the microphones in these opportunities, and we just crap all over our sport. We don't give any fan any reason to want to watch any of these games. There's none. If you were somebody who turned on the news after this, if you were somebody who was scrolling through your social media feed, if you were somebody who was like looking at content, whether it's in a news article digitally or through to YouTube or Instagram, there is nothing positive about this. If you didn't have a reason to not turn the games on before, you have 100 of them right now. These are friendlies. These games do not matter. The end result of these games does not matter at all. The first 45 minutes is the first 20 minutes of the game. The United States dominated. So oh my God, we're doing it again. No, the first 45 minutes of the game, both squads played very, very close to potentially the players that were going to be starting in the World Cup. The United States played their starting 11 to the best that we had. Yes, we got players out injured. We can get to that. We can talk about Adam's death, all that. But to the best of our ability, if the World Cup started today, the 11 players that we put on that field, they were the starters. Belgium did the same thing. And for 45 minutes, the United States held their own, if not more, if not outperforming Belgium, leading Belgium, and giving away a goal close to the half. If this was the World Cup, if that was the first game of the World Cup, every single person that is sitting there crapping on this, doing whatever, would be in the booth as an analyst, talking about how pumped up they were, talking about how much the United States was outperforming expectations, doing better than we thought they were going to be, hanging in there with this top-seeded team, and if they can just, and if Pochettino and the players and get the subs right and whatever, and we got a chance. Get out of this group with a draw against a top team, win the group, blah, 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 blah. But because it's a friendly, and because we're looking to see who the final spots are on a 26-man roster, not the final spots on a starting lineup where the guys coming off the bench might be the players that you're going to see starting on the field if somebody gets hurt. No. 26 players. You know how many of those players are going to see actual play in the World Cup? Maybe 6. So you have your 11 that are starting. You have 6 more as 17. That's 9 players that we're looking for that are never going to see a single minute. Those are the players that are stepping onto the field. Those are the players that we're going to go get it. So for all these people that didn't have the courage to help the fans who are coming in, who don't know anything about U.S. soccer, who don't know anything about how any of this stuff works, and say, hey, whoa, pump the brakes. We don't need to be that upset about it. Pochettino's just looking for the final set of his 26 guys, and he's just putting on these people like, it's too late. You guys have already blown up. Oh, it's so disappointing. Oh, it's so disgusting. Oh, they're men. We can't just figure anything out and punch it and fire and do it. And we're going to get to all that because I have it all. It's all up here. We're going to review it. All these people, which I'll probably wind up calling names later, that have just done some of the stupidest things that I've ever had to see. And they're all, we're going to go through all of it right now. If you couldn't have been that person to get up there and say, guys, I'm going to show you what I said to my friend. I'm going to read it to you. I can't show it to you. I'm going to read it to you. I said, I feel like I'm always just watching a different game than everybody else. The media is such crap. We just want to relive the glory days from 2002 to 2012, where the quality was complete crap, and it was just the good old boys club. Pack the box and hope and pray. Get a couple miracle goals and from a counterattack, and all of a sudden, wow, you have a positive result against a good side. Except they're friendlies. Soccer doesn't play like most sports, okay? If you're somebody who follows all these other sports, the NFL, preseason, okay, that's what you should be thinking about. If you're an NFL fan who doesn't know anything about soccer and you're just tuning in right now, do you care about your team's preseason games? Do you go, wow, our 4th-string quarterback looks sweet. Our 3rd-string running back who we're going to send back to the training squad who might not. No, the NFL is trying to finalize the players on their roster because they have to let people go because there's a deadline. Nobody cares if the Jets beat the Browns in preseason. Both those teams are terrible. The fans aren't getting hyped up and excited, so why is it that when we do the same thing and we lose, that all of a sudden the sky is falling and nobody should ever cheer for the U.S. men's national soccer team and we've never been good at anything and we were right the whole time? Negativity shouldn't be the thing that's selling. Negativity is not getting people to buy $2,500 tickets. That's what we're up against. If you're going to be an ambassador of the game, how are you combating that? When I was a kid, and this is, I continued, this is what I said to him. When I was 13, 14, 15, when I was growing up watching this, I didn't look at the guys on the screen and go, man, one day I hope I grow up to be Benny Feilhaber. No. I watched as a teenager and went, is this really the best the United States has to offer? I'm better than these guys. I could grow up to be a better player than these guys. Not anymore. When I sit here and watch these games, I'm going, man, I wish I could be as good as those guys. And it's not because I got older and wiser or any of this stuff. No, it's because the talent got better. And kids these days, they're actually looking at the people like Christian Pulisic. They're actually looking at people like Weston McKennie and Tim Weah and Anthony Robinson and Chris Richards and Matt Freese. And they're looking at those players and going, that's who I want to be one day. I want to be as good as those people. I want to be as good as those players. That didn't happen. The 1994 World Cup, we were like, it's going to boost soccer in the United States. I brought my dad on the podcast to talk about it, right? Talk about his experience. It didn't do anything. We had an opportunity and we blew it. Yes, we launched the MLS after that, so there's a lot of success, right? So we didn't completely blow it. There were things that came as about, but here we are again with an opportunity to present soccer to the world, to present America to the world. There's a documentary coming out on HBO Netflix, which we're going to get to. I'll show you some of my comments about that. That is presenting U.S. soccer to the world. And we can't do that ourselves? We don't want anybody else to get involved. Are we ashamed? Are we unable to explain to people that soccer's really unfortunate? Because you only get to see if you're the winner every 4 years. And that's why it sucks. That's why it's glorious and amazing. And it has some of the most dramatic, beautiful, heroic moments that you're ever going to see in sports. And it's why it's the worst, most depressing, horrible, tormenting thing that you ever have to watch your team go through, okay? My heart goes out to Italy and their fans and their team because I've been there. I grew up in that. If the United States had grown up, if we weren't here, if we were in CONCACAF, if we were in UEFA, we never would make a World Cup. If it's the World Cup, sure, I'm with you guys. Because wins are all that matter. But this was a friendly. Okay? A friendly where we agreed to 11 substitutions. If you thought you were gaining any valuable knowledge in the second half of either one of those games, there's something wrong with you. The result of that game did not matter. Well, we really struggled. We really lacked the... In a friendly where 11 substitutions happened, where the first half intent was to see if we could go toe-to-toe, whether that's because the U.S. Soccer Federation did a media stunt to sell tickets, that's not the point. It happened. We went into halftime, and me and all the people that I talked to, that's what we talked about. And we almost wanted to turn the games off at halftime because the rest of the game was the coach looking at random players to go, are you going to fill the bottom 3 spots of my 26-man roster? Not the bottom 3 spots of the players I'm actually going to play in the game. The bottom 3 spots of my 26-man roster, which doesn't even mean you're one of the best 26 players on the team. It means, are you somebody who's in the spot, right, in the category that needs more depth because we lack the depth? Because the 26th man might not be your 4th striker if you don't think you need a 4th. It might be your 5th, 6th, 7th center back because you're that worried about it. That's how it works. Nobody cares about spring training games in MLB. Yeah, you go to them and you do it, but no one's posting the results. Why do we do it with soccer? Why? Why do we have these insane spectacle moments where we're just trying to get attention and clickbait, selling negativity to everybody? If you watch those games and you don't think that the United States held their own, if not more, against Belgium and Portugal, you're out of your mind. We had 1 lapse, right? And Portugal capitalized. So what's the difference between us and Portugal? We had 12 chances. Portugal turned the ball over like 9 times. 3 or 4 times in the first 4 or 5 minutes. Our game against Portugal should have been 2 or 3-0 5 minutes into that game. Our problem is that we can't capitalize in the final third. Our problem is that we're not creative in the final third. Our problem is that we're playing players like Malik Tillman, who doesn't understand how to do any of those things, and Aiden Morris, who can't control the midfield. That was the problem in that game. So if you held your own with a starting 11 that's not even going to be your final starting 11 and outpossessed and outplayed a team for that whole first half, what are we worried about? I watched both of those games, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, my bet on us to beat Belgium might actually pay off. I'm actually going to watch the United States not just win a group, but handily win a group. I'm going to watch the United States perform well on home soil. You don't think that in the group stages, with the way that we played, we're not going to score 2-3 goals against Australia, 3-4 goals against Paraguay, 2-3 goals against Turkey, and then ride that momentum out? And now players are in form because they've been playing together as a squad. One of the things that you could tell was not apparent with the guys that we had. And they're putting balls in the back of the net, and they're getting results. And then we're going to do it again to somebody like in Algeria in the knockout, which I guess isn't even the knockout. It's like technically like the pre-knockout. To then face a Belgium with potentially 12, 13 goals under our belt. Have guys having figured it out, have a system, figured it out, have it, and not be experimenting and not be what? Really? Let's go through it. Let's go through it. Here's Alexi Lawless's State of the Union, okay? Which I don't mind. I thought Alexi was actually like pretty tame. Here's Rob Stone.
As this window closes on this U.S. team after this loss and the second loss of the window.
I wish I felt better. I think that's probably a lot of the American fans out there. I understand what the level of competition was, right? Two teams that a lot of folks have pegged to go deep in the World Cup in Belgium and Portugal. But these are the type of teams that we, as the U.S., have to learn to start beating, right? Whether it's a tune-up or whether it's in a game that matters like the World Cup. And we're still not there. And frankly, I don't think we're close. You know, we're listening to Christian Pulisic and Mauricio Pochettino after the game and like, hey, we're getting there. And they were trying to be upbeat. I'm not as optimistic as they are.
Do you think that they...
So we're not close. Rob Stone, you watch both of those games, and you don't think we're close. There's a difference between saying we're not there yet and we're not close. You're not optimistic, right? So this is a voice that people are familiar with when it comes to soccer. Right? If you're just a casual fan, you might not know that that's his name, Rob Stone, but you've seen the guy before, so you know he's the person that's up there. And if you're listening to this, you're hearing Rob Stone go, you know what? I wish I could be happier. I wish I cared about this. I wish I was excited. I wish we had. I wish. We're not there yet. We're not any good. Well, fun. What a fun time. What a fun time. Let's look at articles. Is the U.S. men's national team already hopeless for this year's World Cup after reality check losses? Ian Miller. You must not get a lot of attention. Here we go. Oh my gosh, Cinderella's dead. I actually don't think this is the article, but for a second I was about to go off on Clay Travis because I was like, dude, like, not doing it. But I don't know because I didn't see that video. But like, look at this. To call it a disaster would be optimistic. To tell me that that you don't understand how soccer works and preparation, right, would be optimistic in my eyes. I don't understand. I don't understand. Let's go to another one. Let's go to NPR. Right? We'll go to NPR. 4 takeaways from the tune-up games. Right? Is this the one I was thinking? One of them was like the takeaways were basically like, oh, I think it was ESPN or no, it was Fox. Fox had one that was like the 4 takeaways are like we exist, like our players played. That was not a good one. Did anyone impress? No. Hold on. Sorry, I apologize. I got to come back over here. Did anyone impress in chance to make World Cup squad? Did anyone? Lackluster 2-0 defeat. Look at this. While much of the squad has been penciled in for years now, a number of roster spots are still up for grabs. And then they give these player ratings, right? Lost possession, which upheld, like, okay. What? Like, I'm reading it. This is me reading this for the first time. You can't see. I'm reading Freeman, so I got to move it for a second. A 5 out of 5? Look, he might not have been like the best player on the field, but a 5.5. 6. Well, we gave Aiden Morris a 7. Literally the worst player that was on the field. The worst player that played on the field. Somebody who's not going to make that 26-man roster, who doesn't have a single shot at doing it, who couldn't track guys in the midfield, who couldn't mark guys in the midfield, who couldn't defend, who couldn't trap, who couldn't pass the ball, who couldn't generate chances, right? Tidy with the ball in midfield and regularly looked to pass the ball forward, but the options weren't great. No, Aiden Morris was never in a position that was going to help us. He didn't know what to do when he got the ball. He was panicked. He kept trying to knock the ball backwards. And every time our midfield got the ball, it did it. Nobody turned. Nobody got the ball and turned and tried to go forward. Everybody just went, I have the ball, I go backwards. Coach said go backwards. No. Turn. You know how much pressure Portugal was able to put on us in that second half because we had a bunch of guys that couldn't just turn and go forward and nobody was trying to play between the lines? Oh my gosh. Like, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. All right, so here's some of the worst stuff. Look at this. Look at this one. Can we all agree that Pulisic is arguably our most talented player? Sorry, Terry Watson. I'm putting you on blast. This is, if you're in the U.S. men's national team group on Facebook, this is going to become a regular segment for me. I'm just going to put people on blast because I just can't. You can see that I reacted, haha. The question is he the right player for this team? He just seems to be trying to do too much. There have been many occasions where he holds the ball too long, ruining our scoring opportunity. Poch keeps saying it's about having the right players, not the best. Does this include Pulisic? I'm going to bring it to my comment. Posts like this are the reason soccer isn't growing in this country. I normally just don't. Like, actually, this last, month, I've almost thought about just leaving this group because I thought it was going to be people having a discussion about the U.S. men's national team. And, for the most part, it's not, because people like me who are just, looking to gain information and looking to have conversations, we're not the ones making posts. And if you do dare make a post, you just get trash like this. You just get people who are like the first person, this comment wasn't here, literally the first person was, no, he shouldn't be. This is the wrong person. He shouldn't be in this post. It's insane. And somebody else made the comment about the HBO series, and my comment on the HBO series, oh gosh, is this somebody? Yeah, look. Somebody said, right here. So the HBO special is premiering, and I decided to comment, and just like all their games, streaming services will prevent people from watching. Thanks, Sam. I could watch it in Spanish, though, guys. It's free. It's free in Spain. Who else do we got? Whoa! Player ratings. 3 out of 10. Oh, and dude, there we go. Oh, there we go. Who better to listen to than Hercules Gomez? Former U.S. men's national team player, key perpetrator in the good old boys club victim mentality that we have of how back in my day, I had to fight. I fought. We put up real results against real teams because we stuck it out because we fought. That Christian Pulisic had better stats than you after 3 games of playing on the national team. And he was 18. You're on ESPN's FC. That's struggling to get views. And all you do is just yell at the camera. But you're an ambassador of the sport, and you're really here to grow it. And we're just trying to make sure that everybody knows. It's insane. Should they be concerned about his goal drought? Are we going to be able to beat Turkey, eh? Is the United States even going to make it out of their group? Look at these player ratings. Trusty gets a 5. Chris Richards gets a 6. See, these guys gave Freeman a 7. There we go. Sebastian Berhalter, 5. There we go. Aiden Morris with a 4. Okay, so I have a little bit more faith in these people. Right, who else we got? Okay, so this. CBS, this is the Sports Galazzo, right? If you guys are following this is Jimmy Conrad and Chuck Davies and Tony Miola's on it now, right? So look at this title, time for concern, right? Did Pochettino tinker too much? There was one that I just couldn't even. Couldn't even. You guys are just yelling and talking about stuff, and it's just dude, what are we doing? And then this, oh my gosh. And I have no right. You guys could blast me. Yeah, he got 22,000 views. Tack's been busting his butt and getting all this other stuff, whatever. But this is it's insane. It's insane that where our videos are we're horrible, everything's horrible. I watched his pregame thing where he had the other guy from whatever other thing it is. And it's just kind of just like everybody sucks. Everybody's horrible. We're butchering everything because we're not going getting Noah Keem Banks or Noah Kai Banks, and Pochettino's not this, and we should fire him. We should let him go. And all these players are overrated stuff. It's like, again, it's just negativity, right? Negativity is what's getting clicks. Negativity is what's selling. Okay? This is the one thing that is ruining U.S. men's soccer. It's this. It's negativity. It's the comments. It's like, I get it. Wouldn't it be great if we just creamed every single friendly? Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if everybody we played against we won all the time? Wouldn't it be great? Or wouldn't it be great if we looked back on previous rosters that we've had and went, if I handed you that roster and asked you to pick your starting 11, you'd be able to immediately snap pick 3 or 4 players, and then you would sit there and scratch your head. And you go, I really don't know who else I'm going to put in this lineup. Just gonna hope and pray, right? Whereas right now, not only could you easily pick an 11, there's a debate over in that 11. There's actually 15 or 16 that technically could be the starters. We're trying to figure out, if I had to take 26 people, who would I lock it down to? If we're going to call ourselves ambassadors of the game, if we are going to have conversations with people who are not fans of this, and we're going to try to grow the sport, okay? The friend that I told you I was texting went to the bar the year the women won the World Cup last, in the final at 10 a.m. Why? Because all he knew was the women were good and there was a good chance we were going to win. This is what we're up against. Explain to people that the U.S. women's national team putting on a She Believes Cup and playing whatever it was, some kind, which you beat 11-0 and then played them again and beat them 13-0. Like we played like the Philippines or Laos or something. I remember, like, that's not that's silly. That's not indicative of their sport either. Because our men aren't doing that, because we're gonna we shouldn't even be ranked 16th, Tim. We're not even that good. Yes, we are. We're a top 10 team in the world right now. Okay, yeah, there's a big difference between top 5 teams and top 10 teams. So what? There's a big difference between top 4 teams and top 10 teams in March Madness and everything else. It's professional sports. You sit here and be like, it's like, guys, come on. If you're the only people that are going to be on TV when somebody's going to turn it on, right? Which is like, Fox has this monopoly. CBS is trying with their Golazo, but Fox currently has the monopoly. It can't be nonsense. ESPN, literally the only thing that's coming on is going to be Herculez Gomez. And then a bunch of other people are now taking their shots at it, right? So if you haven't seen those, it was like Get Up or something. They just primarily do like basketball stuff. They had like a draft for the World Cup when the group stages came out. And it was like, they broke it up into favorites, and then they broke it up into dark horses, and they broke it up into something else. The United States wasn't on the board. Not as a favorite, not as a dark horse. We just weren't on the board. So guess what? Nobody picked us. So here's all these analysts that are getting all this support from something else, and they didn't even have the courage to bring somebody on who actually understood soccer. They had Norway, not even as a dark horse, as a favorite. Norway as a favorite to win the World Cup. What are we doing? This isn't going to grow the sport. This isn't going to get people to love it. This is going to get people to go, oh, that's right, soccer's for sissies. That's why I don't play soccer. Is that what you guys want? Jimmy Conrad? Is that what you want, Alexi Lawless and Rob Stone? Is that what you guys want? You guys want people to sit at home, and when the United States concedes against Paraguay in the first game, they just turn the TV off? I knew it. I knew we sucked. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have. We have $600 tickets to a friendly against Germany. Okay, the media is not the only thing preventing the sport from growing. The tickets are just a disaster of their own accord, right? And that is not obviously all the people that I just mentioned have nothing to do with that, right? None of our content creators are the reason to do that. But imagine World Cup tickets were only $400, $500, $600. When you're getting up on your thing and you're saying, you know what, I know I won that ticket lottery, but I'm not really sure I want to do this anymore. Well, you're a former player. You're like the expert on the team. Well, if the expert doesn't want to go, well, I'm definitely not going to do that. Oh, and now our stadium's empty. Oh, no, it's not empty. It's filled with the away team's fans because they actually traveled because they had passion and believed in their team. Because even though they're an underdog and even though they're not supposed to win, they still showed up because they believed in their team. Because that's what you do. To close, I'm going to tell you what I closed with my friend. I said, now imagine being me. Because he said, well, actually, I will say what he said first. Okay, I see exactly what you're saying. And that context changes everything. It's so brutal when the same people who want to grow the sport shit on it publicly. I said, now imagine being me. It's literally the only team that I care about. It's the only team that I've cried over, cheered over, climbed on roofs over, painted my face over, driven down the street, singing Olé, banging on my car door, waving flags after Landon Donovan scored against Algeria. And the players, you guys, that I had to watch, that made me so mad watching us as a kid, are still making me mad right now. You couldn't perform on the field, so shut up right now. Okay. On a different note, on May 26th, the United States roster is going to drop. Okay, we are going to have a instant reaction. It can't be a live reaction because I'm pretty sure they're going to drop it while I'm working. But it will be like live for me. I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to have all my media stuff off. I'm going to come in. I'm going to do one of those things and put that stuff up. So if you're somebody who's optimistic about the team, if you're somebody who's going to give 100% no matter what, if you're somebody who is tired of the negativity and tired of the haters and tired of whatever, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, go watch all of our other content. Okay, we're negative about refereeing in CONCACAF. We're not negative about us. Okay, were we critical? Sure. Of players, we're coming from a fan's perspective. I want to see players on the field that are going to. I am not trying to ruin it for other fans. I want to grow the game. I want my friends to love U.S. soccer. The thing that makes me the saddest is knowing that when this World Cup comes up, I don't have anybody to watch it with, and I have friends. And I'm gonna be like, even the games that happened, I'm sitting on my couch by myself watching games because that's how few people even knew that we were playing. I'm lucky if I can get my in-laws to watch these games with me, and they will because they're on and they're. But guys, what are we doing? What are you doing that is going to grow the game? What are you doing that is going to encourage somebody who has all these preconceived notions about soccer, about how it's boring and how it's for sissies and wimps and just like it's the world's most popular sport. We are finally catching up. We are finally having elite world talented players. And when we finally catch up and we finally have world talented players, all the former boys of that good old gentleman boys club, you guys are all butthurt because it's not you. You did your part. You played your heart out. People bought your jerseys. You were ambassadors of the game. You still can be. Your role has just shifted. You're not an ambassador on the field. Now you're an ambassador off the field. Have some respect for the guys that are trying to be ambassadors on the field. Boost the game. Be positive. Give your analysis and be critical. But this is insane. This stuff that we're doing is insane. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't even listen to the rest of Alexi Laus's podcast, and I normally listen to almost all of them. Because after Rob Stone finished with that, I just said, I can't. This is a load of crap. And and just scrolling through and then looking at the Facebook, I was just like, well, I know what my next episode's going to be on. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk and listening to my rant. I appreciate every single one of you, even if it's just 3 of you. That's life. Leave a comment, even if it's negative, right? Even if it's negative, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe. Really appreciate it. I will catch you guys all on the next one.